Hello everyone, you're listening to the Uptrip Podcast. Today is a very special episode because if you're watching from YouTube, this is the first time we are filming the podcast. I hope everyone is happy and safe in this time of quarantine, but I just want to get quickly into it. It's going to be a kind of a short episode, but big news that just came out. Sergio Perez will be sitting out of the British Grand Prix due to testing positive for COVID-19. We all hope that he gets well and he is safe right now. The official statement from Racing Point came out saying Sergio is physically well and in good spirits, but he will continue to self-isolate under the guidelines of relevant public health authorities, with safety the ultimate priority for the team and sport. Now the big question coming out is who will replace Sergio. The only logical option is Esteban Gutierrez, because Racing Point don't actually have an official reserve driver. At the moment, they kind of use Mercedes, since they are in the Mercedes family. So Esteban Gutierrez is kind of the only logical option. They could use Stoffel Van Dorn, but he is out right now doing his Formula E stuff, and so is Nick de Vries. And I don't think they're going to call up Jack Aiken or Dan Ticktum from the Williams reserves from Formula 2, because I think they want someone a bit more experienced in the world of Formula 1 and how they conduct themselves. So we hope Checo gets well. And we shall see who will replace him. I also want to do this episode to do a quick predictions episode for the podcast ahead of Friday practice or Thursday. I don't remember. Sorry. I want to do quick predictions. My first predictions are that someone will retire from the big two now, Red Bull and Mercedes. My prediction will be one of the Mercedes. Unfortunately, because they do still have that little bit of mechanical issue, so hopefully they do resolve that. My next prediction is Haas. Haas will struggle again, even though they got their first points last week. They did struggle quite a lot, going from I think third place with K-Mag holding that third place all the way down to 9th, and then getting that penalty, which dropped both Haas drivers down to down one place, with K-Mag getting 10th and getting the first points of the season. I do think they will struggle around the circuit, and they could be okay. They could be going for points, but I do think that both Haas drivers need to kind of calm down a bit, like they did last year, which is hit each other, forcing them both out of the Grand Prix. But if they don't, I still feel like they will struggle because they don't have that pace to compete with Alfa Romeo, actually. Surprisingly, with all three Ferrari family cars struggling throughout the season, but especially Haas and Alfa Romeo. Has Alfa Romeo scored points? I think they've scored 2 points, but they've really struggled so far this season. Now moving on, I think that Alexander Albon will get his first ever podium in this race with his performance last week. I was really impressed with his performance, going from 13th to 5th. And my dad last week, I think, said that Albon wouldn't get into the top 6, and I was correct. He did get into the top 6. He got 5th place. Thoroughly impressed. He got good points. He was beaten to that 4th place by Lance Stroll. But he is performing pretty well. He's a bit down on pace, but you gotta remember he did have kind of a confidence shock, I guess, as they say, with the first week and getting hit off by Lewis. That definitely rocked his confidence a bit, but he has stepped up, and I think he definitely is secure for right now with Red Bull the kind of the rumors around him leaving. Christian Horner has said a bunch of times that he is safe. But I do think he will perform very well. My next prediction is kind of a no-brainer. Lewis Hamilton will win the British Grand Prix because that Mercedes car looks super dominant. So dominant right now. They look so fast, and I to be honest, I think that they will win every single Grand Prix this year, which is kind of boring. It's kind of but it will be fun to see who will compete for those other podium positions. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton gonna win the Grand Prix in front of his home crowd. Well, there's no crowd. In front of his home country watching the Grand Prix from home. Kind of giving him that motivation. My next predictions kind of include the other two British drivers in the paddock is George Russell and Lando Norris. Lando Norris will come home in a top 5 position. Again, performing in front of his home country, and also George Russell will score his first points. I definitely think the two Williams have pace. I don't think Latifi will score his first points in this race, but I do think George Russell will, because how he's performing, and it's so impressive. I'm so happy to see both Williams getting into Q2 twice. George Russell twice and Latifi getting into Q2. I'm very happy for them. Good job, Williams. Claire Williams should be happy, and Frank Williams. It's a definite improvement from last year. But I do think Russell has the pace to get his first ever points in Formula 1. My next prediction is Lance Stroll will get another podium this week. He'll get P3, I think, or P4. He might get, I think it's a bit of a tie between him, Albon, and Verstappen with that podium. I think that Lance Stroll will definitely do really, really, really well this week. He did well. He performed well in Hungary, which was a tight circuit, kind of a Monaco-esque kind of circuit with weaving and a very tight circuit. But he also performed well in Austria, which is a high-speed circuit, which is like Silverstone. And Racing Point, I'm pretty sure it's like literally like a 5-minute walk to Silverstone, their facility. So I think they have a good understanding of how that circuit works and how they can optimize their performance, how they can get the most out of their car this week. My next prediction is Latifi and Russell will get into Q2 again this week. I think they've shown a lot of pace, a lot of improvement, both scoring Q2 last year, as I said, the first double Q2 performance from Williams since 2018 in Monza. So definitely a huge improvement there. So I do think that they will get into Q2. And my last and final prediction is that whoever will replace Sergio Perez will score a top 8 finish. It's more than likely going to be Esteban Gutierrez, and he has prior F1 know-how, I guess. I think he will score a top 8 finish because the Racing Point looks really good, looks very fast, and definitely he has the capability, if he does replace him, to get in a top 8, and the car has the capability of getting into that top 8. Moving on to a bit of news. Where will Sebastian Vettel go after this season? A lot of rumors, a lot of kind of talk around where he will go. A lot of people saying it will be Racing Point / Aston Martin. The move, if you guys don't know, Lawrence Stroll bought a share of Aston Martin, So they will be turning into Aston Martin Formula One team next year. That would be kind of the logical place for Vettel to move. But who will he replace? Let's be honest, it's not going to be Lance Stroll. If he does go, it will be replacing Sergio Perez, which is very sad to see because Perez is such a good driver. Again, I think we talked about this already in a few episodes ago, but I think Perez will either move to a reserve driver role for Aston Martin, or he will go to somewhere like Sauber or Haas. Not Sauber, sorry, Alfa Romeo. And because he already has been in Sauber, and he already has kind of knowledge of how they work and how that car works, even though it's been a long time. He has been in that team. Or he'll go to Haas, and Haas is a desperate need of a new driver. By how both drivers have been performing this year and last year, they definitely need to replace them right now. They need new drivers. And yeah, that is kind of everything that I have to talk about today. I hope you have all enjoyed. Watch out for episode, I think, my time Monday. It might be different for you guys. I will have a special guest this week. I hope you guys all enjoy that. Look out for that. Follow me on Twitter at Upshift Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at UpshiftF1, and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube at Upshift Motorsport. I'll probably be changing that, but right now it's at Upshift Motorsport. And yeah, view this podcast anywhere you guys get your podcast, I guess. And I hope you guys all have a good day. Be safe in this time of quarantine. And goodbye.